Let me know if you can see the screen, Rubana or sisters, if you can type in. I won't be able to see the chat, so if you can. Oh, cool. Thank you so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So today is our final day or night for this class, Seeking Serenity in Marriage through Ramadan Preparation. And I am your host, Rebecca Islam. I am a marriage fitness coach. May Allah give me clarity in my speech and untie the knots in my tongue so that you can understand my speech. Again, rules, participate, very important, because if I don't get any feedback from you, I feel like I'm talking to myself, recording video, which I feel very discomfort about. So if you participate, that builds a relationship. And it also shows how you are showing up in your personal relationship. Are you just receiving, or are you also giving, putting input in this relationship? Have your videos on if you can. Sometimes we cannot if we are at work or in the hospital or emergency comes up. But if you can, have your videos on. That makes me feel I'm in a classroom as well. Minimize distraction where possible. Have your doors shut. Have your phone on silent. Have your tea and water and notepad with you so that you don't have to go in the middle of the class to get them. Again, a reminder, this session would be recorded and would be used for marketing purposes. So you being here, it means that you are giving me permission to do so. We have talked about so far yesterday and day before yesterday, we have touched on seeking forgiveness, purity of heart, having the salah on time and beautifying it, having a relationship with Quran, learning about fiqh of fasting, learning about Islam, and giving charity. We also have touched on the preparation of our mind, body, and we did preparation of our mind yesterday. Today we are going to delve much deeper. So Ramadan is much more than giving up food and drink. It is self-restraint, not only just apparent bits which can be seen, but also internal self-restraint. Abu Huraira narrated that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, whoever does not give up a false statement and evil deeds and speaking bad words to others, Allah is in not need of his fasting or leaving his food or drink. So whoever is not giving up forged speech and evil action, Allah really doesn't need all this from us. We need Allah. So being mindful of what we are living other than just the food and drink. He should neither use obscene language nor act ignorantly. So start to be extra vigilant with your conversation so that there is no gossiping, backbiting, slandering, and start to control your emotions and actions such as anger and cheating and being abusive. Sometimes we don't realize that we are being abusive. Sometimes we don't realize, just because we are being human, we don't realize that we are getting into gossip or backbiting without even realizing it. So may Allah give us that ability to catch ourselves while we are dragged into or get into these bad habits. During fasting, our emotions, we have heightened awareness of how we can, we feel how poor people would feel when they go hungry, and our emotions are so heightened. We are irritated easily because we are so hungry. We feel edgy most of the time. So if we are not careful, we can easily get into all these emotional outbursts. It's easy to have our emotions in control when we are in a very relaxed state. But with fasting, our awareness is heightened for this experience of this hunger. So we are easily irritable. Fasting is a shield. When any one of you is fasting on a day, he should neither indulge in obscene language nor raise the voice. Or if anyone reviles him or tries to quarrel with him, he should say, I'm fasting. And a person might fast and he gets nothing from this except of hunger. So again, it is saying that when our emotions are heightened, we need to acknowledge that. And when we cannot control those, we can tell people that, hey, I'm fasting, so that they give us, it's not that they're going to excuse our misbehavior, but it's acknowledging myself that I am very edgy, I'm very cranky today, so I have to be more careful, and letting them know as well to be more forgiving, and so that they don't bring up a lot of issues, and that way helping us as well. Implement the Quran in your life. Abdul Rahman, may Allah be pleased with him, he reported, the companions would learn to recite 10 verses from the Messenger of Allah before they moved on to memorizing 10 more. So they would recite those verses, they would make it into their habits, they will translate into their actions. So it's just not knowledge, but also it gets into their heart and comes out as action. And he said, we learn sacred knowledge and action together. In the last days of this world, there will appear some young foolish people, and this is a hadith in Bukhari as well, who will use the best speech of all people, that is the Quran, and they will claim that, and they will abandon Islam as an arrow going through the game, and their belief will not be beyond their throats. So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that. So we can read a lot of Quran, memorize a lot of Quran, just like, and we remember the Quran just as easy, as quick as the arrow passes through the target. But that doesn't go into our heart and comes out as action. Unless that's happening, what's the benefit of just memorizing the Quran? Yes, we understand there is some spiritual benefit, it heals us, but if we are not actively understanding and putting them in action or making those our habits, it's not going to change our lives massively. Allah has described specific qualities that we should embody as believers. These are the people of Quran. To help you become such people, there are some compilation of Quranic qualities that I would like to share at the end. Actually, let me see if I can. Now, probably I'll share at the end. I wanted to do an exercise on that one, but we'll probably not be able to do that at this moment. We'll see if we have enough time at the end. If I'm not able to do that in the class, I'll give that to you. That's a link from internet. I didn't create it. So you can go through those and see which qualities you are having, which qualities you want to hone, inshallah. Reflect on the mistakes made in the last Ramadan. And reflecting doesn't mean you spiral down and self-beat and guilt trip yourself and keep going, plummeting in that ditch. Reflecting on your mistakes mean, okay, my GPS, I got lost. I'm here right now. So finding your mistake is finding yourself where you are in the GPS, and then recalculating. So adjusting to go to your destination, not sulking and sitting there and saying, I can't do any better, or letting the negative self-talk take over, or the waswasa of shaitan take over. So hold yourself to account. Our actions are raised up daily to Allah twice, in the morning and in the evening. Then they are raised weekly to Allah twice, Monday and on Thursday. And they are then raised up to Allah yearly in Shaban. Thus the Prophet liked for his annual performance review to correspond with him being in a state of fasting. Use this month to elevate your last year's action. Do as much ibadah as you can so that the angels will ascend to Allah with your good deeds. Inshallah. The degree to which a person can grow is directly proportional to the amount of truth they can accept about themselves without running away. So what that means is the degree to which we can accept that this is where I am, going out of path, going wrong. This is where I can do better without running away. So means we have the courage to face it. As much as we can face it, the depth to which we can face it, we'll be able to fix. A lot of us have tendency, our ego comes out and prevents us from accepting our mistakes. It blocks us. It becomes very defensive, especially if somebody points it out, it's even worse. So to be able to catch ourselves there and being humble that we are human beings, we are to make mistakes. That's how we are made. But best of human beings are those who make sins and acknowledge and ask for forgiveness, and then does better. Allah said, if we didn't make mistakes, if we didn't sin, Allah would have replaced us with some other creation. So let's make mistake because we will, and then acknowledge and do better, inshallah. Not letting our ego deflect us. Improve your character. So develop good characters, evaluate your manners. And that's coming back to, again, facing your fears, facing our mistakes without running away. It is very important to start Ramadan with a clean heart and good manners and good character. Practice either speaking good or being silent. Being silent doesn't mean that I'm going to not speak up the truth. So we have to still speak up the truth, but in a good fashion. Practice controlling your nafs. It is one of the most important things to keep in mind, especially during this holy month, because shaitan is chained up during this month. The more we sweat in training, the less we bleed in battle. And success is not for faint-hearted. It's reserved for the one who goes the extra mile. So yes, practice now so that when life throws us in challenges, when Allah puts us in test, which He will, because He promised that, we are ready, and it becomes easy for us to face. So let's train ourselves. The best amongst you are those who have the best manners and character. Rasulullah ﷺ said, I was sent to perfect good character. In another version, good manners. Allah has sent me as an apostle so that I may demonstrate perfection of character, refinement of manners, and loftiness of deportment. Deportment means the way a person carries himself, stands, walks, and it's the element of etiquette. So are we focusing on those things, or is it just giving up food and water? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Allah is kind and He loves kindness in all matters. And kindness is a mark of faith. And whoever is not kind has no faith. So are we being kind in dealing with people, in all our matters, in dealing with ourselves? Are we being kind? Or are we negative self-talking and putting ourselves down and talking to us, you idiot, you stupid, how can you do this? Gentleness is having the power, right, and authority to do something and still choosing to be graceful. And gentleness has the power to change the world. Allah said in the Quran, and by the mercy of Allah you dealt, so He's saying it to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, with them gently. And had you been severe and harsh-hearted, they would have broken away from you. So Allah is talking about the Sahabas and how He dealt with them and the people. So pass over their faults and ask Allah's forgiveness for them and consult them in the affairs. So being gentle, being kind-hearted, not severe with people, even with ourselves, will help us build those relationships. Otherwise, people will just run away from us. And consulting our affairs with them, so with our children, when we are making decisions, letting them know, involving them. It doesn't mean we are taking their decisions. It means we are consulting and acknowledging and seeing through everybody's input. But we, as the leader of the household, we make the decision. We have the final say. We have the final, making the final decision after evaluation. The strong are not the best wrestlers. Verily, the strong are only those who control themselves when they are angry. So again, when our emotions come up, how are we handling ourselves? As I mentioned, fasting will heighten our awareness, and also all the other emotions will be edgy. How are we handling those? It is easy to love someone when they are being lovely. It's very hard to love somebody when they are being obnoxious. Are we still being able to have space for them, have kindness for them? And that doesn't mean we cop all their misbehavior or their violence. It means accepting them as they are. As I've mentioned this example earlier, that if you hit yourself, if you bump onto a wall, you cannot expect the wall's behavior to change, but you can acknowledge that that's a wall and give it its space, and you maintain your distance instead of getting angry at the wall. Those who spend in the way of Allah, both in plenty and hardship, who restrain their anger and forgive others, Allah loves such good doers. So forgiveness has, because we tend to mistake forgiveness. We think we forgive our abuser. Yes, we do. But there are 4 cases of forgiveness. And in some case, it is disliked or forbidden to forgive. And that is for a person who is a habitual con man, a con artist, or a manipulator. And they manipulate in the relationship, or they manipulate, say, a religious person, because they know that this person is very straightforward, very naive, very soft-hearted. They will not call on me. They will not call out on me. And they keep pushing their boundaries and manipulating. So those kind of people, you cannot just keep forgiving, because then they will be perpetually doing the same thing and not change their behavior. Emotional regulation and intelligence, the ability to monitor, identify, and understand and manage your emotion as well as those of people around you, and having that awareness And as a Muslim, we need to do that, because Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says a Muslim is not bitten from the same hole twice. So until we have that emotional regulation and intelligence, so emotional regulation would be, I don't have outbursts of emotion, or I don't shut down and not speak the truth. And emotional intelligence means being able to read the room, being able to read the other person, and cater them accordingly and cater to them accordingly. And those who avoid the major sins and immoralities, and when they are angry, they forgive. And who enforce justice when wronged, who respond to their Lord, establish prayer, conduct their affairs by mutual consultation, and donate from what we have provided for them. So again, when we are wronged, we can't just sit idle. We still have to speak the truth. So in our marriages, in our relationships, sometimes we are wronged, or we are the wrongdoers, and we become so violent and aggressive that the other person cannot speak to us, let us know what we are doing wrong and how we are mistreating them. And they have to walk on eggshells because of our behavior, or we are the person who are perpetrated and walking on eggshells. So we have to be very mindful of those. Can we still speak the truth, or am I letting the other person speak the truth to me, or am I being abusive and violent? So again, mutual consultation.
There's a question.
Yeah.
Someone wants to ask a question.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. If you can come off mute and ask the question, if possible. Otherwise, type it and Rubana can read that out to me, because I'm not being able to see. Well, I think I can.
Okay, I had a question. Is
Yes,
that
go ahead, sister.
you're speaking of the stages, 4 cases of the forgiveness,
Yeah.
right?
What are
So
the other?
no, what happens that you recognize someone as a habitual con person,
Yeah.
and you happen to forgive and not move forward being with them?
Yes.
Is that fine?
Yeah, that's of course fine. So are you saying you cannot forgive them, or are you saying you forgive them and then you keep a distance?
It's just like I forgive them and I keep my distance.
Of course, we have to keep a distance, because we cannot put ourselves in harm's position. And sister, you are asking this question. Thanks for asking. We did cover it yesterday as well, I believe.
Okay.
Yesterday, if not day before. And we went into a little bit more into that area, into that sector, that we cannot put ourselves in harm's position and keep saying we have forgiven them. You forgive them, but you keep a distance. As Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, a believer doesn't get bitten from the same hole twice. So you have to be alert. Yes. Jazakallah khairan for that question. Have healthy and strong personality. So have good self-esteem. How do you know you have a healthy, strong personality? This is by knowing your rights and knowing other people's rights, knowing your boundaries, and telling other people, mentioning to other people when they are crossing your boundaries. So letting them know about your boundaries. And also when the other person expresses their boundaries, you don't transgress them, you respect those boundaries. And between these boundaries and rights are sick relationships, toxic relationships, lively relationships, and dead relationships. So if we are not maintaining our boundaries, and if we are not maintaining our rights and giving other people, respecting other people's boundaries and giving them their rights, our relationship would be either toxic or sick relationship, or ultimately a dead relationship. And especially we see that in marriage a lot, when we don't understand our rights and our boundaries. A lively relationship is when it's filled with justice, kindness, mercy, forgiving, pardoning, and talking and discussion, as we have mentioned from the Hadith and Quran, that discussing consultation. But when we think we are the authority of the house as parents or as a spouse, we don't allow the other person's view, and we become authoritarian, which doesn't end up well. All of our, so I was reading to this story. This guy was telling this other guy, oh, you listen to your wife? So, condescending tone that, you shouldn't listen to your wife, you're a weak man. And then that man asked the first guy, are you married? So he goes, no, I'm divorced. And he goes, this is why you are divorced. So we don't understand that if we are being authoritative, just like what's happening in Israel, the authoritarian government, people are rebelling against him. So that's the same thing happens in our relationship, in our marriages as well. The kids are rebelling, the wife is rebelling, the husband is rebelling. That's just because we are over controlling. So all of our sickening relationship is when we only do things because we don't want the other person to be upset. So we become a people pleaser, and nobody likes a people pleaser. We like to be pleased, but when we see a person who has no backbone, he's a people pleaser or she's a people pleaser, we don't like them. What we like is the person on the truth, being firm. When we push their boundary, they can stand on what they believe, what their values are, what's right and what's wrong. If we are able to push their boundaries, we don't respect them anymore. So let it go. Next time, I don't want to upset. We say, when somebody is being upset, we say, I'll just let it go. Maybe next time I'll speak up, or I don't want to upset them. But you think, I've got priorities, I'll let it slide. Once you let it slide, once you let the standard slide, we accept what the lower standard is, and people start to think that's what they can get away with. And that's the standard we set for our culture, culture at home, or culture at work or with friends. So they will keep doing that unless we express our boundaries that this is not okay. If we let them slide with the standards, they will keep abusing and manipulating. I don't want to get them upset, so which means I have low self-esteem. I don't have the courage to stand up for what is right from what is wrong, what my values are. So I disregard my values. I would like to be respected, but I'm not getting the respect. That's because I have low self-esteem and I'm not standing up for my values or what I believe in. So I find it hard to say no, but there are ways to say no. We can still politely say no. And no itself is a sentence. We don't have to keep explaining ourselves. We can't be people pleasers. We have to be we have to be people who pleases Allah. The toxic relationship is when people expect you to, or you expect them to do something that is not their obligation, and you don't give them anything in return. You guilt trip as if it's their obligation. And we see that in parents a lot, even with husband, wife, and others, but especially with parents, we see that we guilt trip our children. A dead relationship is where everyone is indifferent, they're apathetic, they're numb. It's like, I don't care if you do it or not, I can't be bothered, do it, don't do it. So it's like, we're not holding them accountable for their obligations. And if you love me or not, I don't care. So that means that relationship is dead. Nothing bothers. So we don't ask each other how our days are going. We don't ask each other about our hopes and dreams, because we keep changing. Our hopes and dreams keep changing. Every 7 to 10 years, we are a different person. So if you are in such relationship, if you're not ending it, it doesn't have any end. I've mentioned yesterday, we have this facade. We're showing the society that we are in a marriage, we're living together under the same roof, but there is nothing in the marriage that should be a relationship between husband and wife. No kindness, nothing, only apathy. The believer in Allah strives for excellence. Excellence is to worship Allah as if we see him, or if we don't, as if he sees us. Not as if we know for sure that he sees us. So striving for excellence, do we have that quality in us, that attribute? Do we have consistency? These are good qualities to have that we should aim for. If we are struggling, that's okay. But we need to have a goal that this is my aim, this is what I want to attain. I will falter, I will sleep, I'll fall down, but I'll get up and start all over again. The acts most pleasing to Allah are those which are done continuously, even if they are small. And when Aisha did any act, she did it continuously. May Allah be pleased with her. That is in Sahih Muslim. So do we have consistency? Do we want to have consistency? Have we built our environment around us to help us build consistency, our mindset? Say good riddance to bad habits. Say goodbye to bad habits. Replace distraction with more productive alternatives. Adopt good habits. Use the month of Ramadan to set Islamic resolutions. Ramadan is the ideal time to cultivate and create healthy habits that will last throughout the year. It's not just for this month. This is a boot camp and training program to cultivate our heart, souls, morals, and ultimately our lives, so that the obedience of Allah becomes our lifestyle. So let's build some excellent religious routines. And religious doesn't only mean praying and reading Qur'an. These are part of our religion. So talent is not enough. You need discipline, you need dedication, you need character. More men have failed, not for lack of talent, but for lack of character. So when I say men, I don't mean male gender. Men in Old English used to mean men and women. So when I say men, I mean women as well. People do not decide their future, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. And the cost of your good habits are in the present, and the cost of your bad habits are in the future. So if we are not cultivating good habits, we're going to see the effect in the future. And the good habits that we used to have in the past, we are reaping the benefits now. It's the small habits that will make a difference. How you spend your morning, how you talk to yourself, what you read, what you watch, who you share your energy with, who has access to you that will challenge you or change your life. So if you are giving access to people who have poor qualities, attributes, poor habits, you are going to be one of them. So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, it goes something like, you are show me, I think I'm mixing the hadith and some saying, but it goes something like, you become who you hang out with. And there is a saying, show me the 5 people you hang out with and I'll tell you your future. My point is, the body can change, so can your bank account. your love life, your career, but you gotta be very good with you. Deep down, you gotta be good with you. You gotta be ready to face the challenges that are draining your energy. To have effective relationship, and this will, if you are not doing that, it will affect your relationship. Are we good with ourselves? I find I catch myself when I'm mindlessly eating. I don't need to, I'm full, but I'm eating. Catch myself eating. Now, I'm thankful to Allah that Allah reminded me. I now I have two options. I can keep eating mindlessly, or I can say thanks to Allah, admit that I'm eating mindlessly, and stop it. I have that choice. And how good I am with myself will determine my future, my relationship. So success requires replacement, picking up new good habits and giving up an old habit, bad habit every week, if you can. No, especially knowing our bad habits and acknowledging them. If we are not acknowledging them, if we are saying, oh, no, I'm like that, I cannot change, or I don't want to change, or no, I'm not like that. So not admitting, slipping away, or not facing our who we really are, because we fear that if we face it, we're just gonna negative self-talk ourselves and we're going to feel bad. So we have to stop that and face our challenges, face whatever we are avoiding within ourselves, and stop them from now. Don't wait until Ramadan begins. If you sleep late, if you are a social media addict or a coffee addict, sugar addict, once you commit to yourself, have purified intentions, make sincere dua that Allah guides us and gives us the ability to stop it there. Inshallah, these bad habits will be easier. Deal with them. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. So we tend to do the opposite. So we tend to be tolerant with ourselves in terms of habit, but then we will go and tell people, don't do this, don't do that, you're bad, bad habit, bad habit, bad habit, or pointing to people. But a great man is hard on himself and a small man is hard on others. Now, how we keep saying, oh, I'm stuck in this marriage, or I'm in this marriage where my spouse is like that, or I'm single, I don't find a good person. How do I find that good person? Or how we encourage our spouse to be that person that we are looking for? If you don't know what good means, and if you don't know if you are good with yourself, if you're not being good with yourself, you will miss the right person. Because if we don't know the definition of what good is, the right person will come by, will not recognize. Or the right person will come, and if we are not used to good, we will not accept them. We'll think they're too boring. So if you have relationship problems of any kind, it means you have historical relational trauma. And unhealed trauma can cause you to excuse, ignore, or downplay mistreatment because you have survived worse. So whatever mistreatment they're showing, you think this is nothing, and you think that's normal. And healing helps you recognize your worth and raise your standards on how you should be treated. So until you know what is expected of us, what the standard is in our religion or socially, you would keep accepting the lower standard behavior. So raise your standard on how you should be treated. Meaning, be the right person for yourself. Then when the right person comes along, you will know the right person. You'll accept the right person in your life. And be the right person in your marriage. If your spouse doesn't lift up their game, you have a choice to make. You can decide what I want to do. If you do not address your childhood traumas, your romantic relationship will. Your marriage will. And without a clear sense of your values, it is hard to know what is and what is not a good behavior, acceptable behavior. Or without knowing your values, you wouldn't be able to make good decisions. You might know, okay, this person is mistreating me, but you won't be able to make the decisions that you need to make unless you know your values and you stand by your values. Sometimes we think, okay, my values are that people should respect each other, meaning people should respect me, but I'm not getting the respect. Why? Because I'm not living my values. I did not create the jinns and humans except to worship me. Indeed, I will make upon the earth you a successive authority. The Arabic term used here is Khalifa, which can also mean, or translated by scholars as caretakers. Indeed, we have made you a successor. Allah is talking to Dawud alayhi salam, upon the earth. So judge between people in truth and do not follow your desire. So we cannot be whimsical. We cannot just go willy-nilly. We have to know right from wrong and stand up for the truth. We cannot say, I'm having sabr without speaking the truth, because Allah says, وَتَوَاسَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاسَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Speak haqq and then have sabr. Without speaking the haqq, having sabr is martyrdom. And we think we are being humble and we're being good. We're not being good to Allah if we are not upholding the truth and not being good to ourselves. Rasulullah ﷺ said, each one of you is a leader and you will be asked about your responsibilities. So for us, who's a leader, who's a caretaker, who's an authority, a successive authority sent on the world, we have to know what a leader is. We have to know. Otherwise, when we have been asked about our responsibilities, we won't be able to pass. So let's take a look at what leadership qualities are. I'll look at the time, how I'm going. Okay. So a leader is mission-driven, has vision, has purpose, is self-aware, shows gratitude, is generous, is confident, is virtuous, is courageous, and resilient. Wise person, warm, graceful, emotionally stable, encouraging, influencing, nurturing, reassuring, safe, kind, compassionate, patient, firm, and honest, and has integrity. A leader is respected and revered. So we think that when we are getting respect, this is not necessarily respect. If we have authority and we are misusing it, people will be scared of us and abide or obey us. That doesn't mean they are respecting us. That's because they're fearful. So don't mistake respect for being revered or being fearful, the person being fearful. Respect, a leader respects people's boundaries and has growth mindset, meaning they're open to learning. They're open when people challenge them. They're open when people point out their flaws. And they're open to look into and audit themselves. They're a collaborator. And that relates to masculine and feminine energy. I want to go back one slide. Do you see any of those, any of the attributes that Rasulullah ﷺ didn't have? Yeah, I don't see. If you see, you can type in the comment. Masculine and feminine energy. Masculine is assertiveness, competitiveness, independence, and strength, big, bold, where needed to be. They show violence. I don't mean in a home environment, I mean at war. But what I also mean in violence in the current world, people think being violent is masculine, but that's not correct. Invulnerable, ambitious, tough, and stoic. And feminine on the other side, femininity means having empathy, nurturing, emotional, having expressiveness, sensitivity, and mercy, traits like mercy, tenderness, softness, quietness, kindness, humility, uncertainty, empathy, and connection. And masculine also lacks emotional connection and intimacy, whereas feminine lacks the assertiveness and direction. And we need to have a balance of both and functional qualities of these attributes, not dysfunctional ones, because we can use all of this in a dysfunctional way. And these are human traits. Human qualities are not gendered, but we give permission to express it gender-wise. But have a look at these qualities. Did Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam not have these qualities? And he is the best of all men Allah has created. He's a role model for us. So did he not have these feminine qualities? A lot of the times we come home, because masculine qualities are needed when we are outside the home to deal with the world, so that we do not get mistreated or advantage of, or when we are at work, we have goals, we need to be goal driven, we need to be achieving those goals. For that, we need to have clarity, assertiveness, and be strong, be focused. And this is also needed at home. But then when we come home, are we bringing the balance of femininity as well? Or are we just bringing the masculinity? And this goes for male and female both, because females are also working, or even if they are not working outside, they are at home, busy doing all the chores, taking care of the house. They're always in their masculine energy. And then when they are treating their husband or their children, they are still operating from that masculine energy, not being able to connect with them. That goes for the brothers as well, the males as well. And we see that connection is disappearing between the family members. And then we say the relationship, the marriage is not working, my children are not listening to me, rebelling, and so on and so forth. Are we balancing at home? Are we keeping the masculine at bay when we enter our house? Self-love is discipline, consistency, commitment, perseverance, building resilience, building trust, having respect for ourselves and others, having a growth mindset, cultivating good habits, and building good character, eating healthy. These are all self-love, but we think we cannot love ourselves because that is narcissistic. And also we mix up self-love with self-care. We think, taking care of ourselves, looking after ourselves is self-love. No, self-love is needed for resting, but self-care is needed for resting, but self-love is needed for our growth. And it is not narcissistic. Self-love is between narcissism and looking down on ourselves, having false humility, not having the qualities, but then saying, I don't have the qualities. Oh, I'm not this, I'm not that. That is false humility. Humility is when you have those qualities and you are not boasting. You're not showing off. You're not putting others down because you have those qualities. So there is a difference between false humility. It's like having power and not misusing it is humility. But not having power and then saying I'm not, misusing it, that's not humility. and thinking I'm a good person because I'm not misusing it. I'm not misusing because I don't have any power. So same goes for these qualities as well. I want to check the time to see. Let's break out for 10 minutes and discuss what qualities as a leader, also masculine and feminine qualities that we see in ourselves, that we see missing and we can work on, and the self-love that we can show ourselves and work on. Let's take 10 minutes. Let me stop sharing here. Maybe break up into 3 and 3 people. And I know Sister Amatullah doesn't want to be with a non-mahram. So make sure Sister Amatullah is in sisters group only. And
yeah,
do we
so
have
I'm
5?
going to put Brother Mubarak and you in the
Okay.
thing so you can discuss with him.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Sister, can you send the question in the chat room?
So the question is, what qualities of a leader do you see yourself having, and what qualities you can work on? Also on the feminine and masculine qualities, and the self-love you can show yourself and you are working on, you already have, and you want to work on. So I can put those slides back if you want to take up, if you want to take a photo of it. Do you need to take a photo of it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me share.
The photo for the qualities?
Yes.
That shared? Yeah, I have it.
You have it? Everybody has it?
I'm
And
not
we
sure
might
because...
go a little bit over time today, if that's okay, and if you give me permission to.
Okay, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, Sister Salamata said she won't be able to talk, so she can stay in this group and we can have a chat. Brother Mubarak, are you there? Rubana, did you want us to be in a group or?
So no, I have put Brother Mubarak in room 2, so you can go and join room 2.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, he hasn't joined room 2 yet.
Okay. So Brother Mubarak, would you like to join room 2 so that we can have a chat about these qualities? And then Rubana, put Sister Salamata in the sisters group as well. So if she joins, that's well and good.
I did.
Jazakallah khairan. Brother, are you there? Assalamu alaikum, brother. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Since I'm the only one here.
Okay. You and I, we will discuss. So you get a one-on-one with me.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. So the question was, oops. So the question was the leadership qualities and masculine and feminine qualities and the self-love that we can work on. So just going through, which one do you see you have and which one you want to work on and be better at?
Okay, 1 minute. One minute, I want to check this.
Sure.
The screenshots. One moment, please. My phone just.
That's okay, brother. Take your time.
Well, so do I have the masculine, logical, confident, focused, strong, stable, clear, assertive, and goal-driven. Well, this issue of this clarity, I don't know. I don't get it properly. What are we looking at?
Oh, clarity means, when we are taking decisions, we have clarity of goals, we have clarity of our action, what we are doing, where we are going, where life is heading, being able to take decisions based on that. Or do we feel like there is a lot of confusion in our head, or having brain fogs, we can't think clearly, we can't visualize our future clearly?
Yes, well, I think that's also one of my. I do have such problems, this clarity of a thing, because by the time I do take some decisions, look at the family,
Mhm.
and like, I don't know whether am I being selfish, or am I considerate of the other family members, the children or the wife?
Mhm.
So I think it's something I try to look into to see how it can be. It could be better. I don't know, because I do have some difficulties in that. I think yes, this issue of clarity is there.
Mashallah, that's good. So things you might have to work on.
Yes, I think I have to work on that to
You
see
have to.
how maybe I have to make things much clearer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why it's getting confusing, because sometimes when I take some decisions, my wife will be like, as if maybe I'm being inconsiderate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also look at that, yes, as a man, you plan ahead.
Yeah.
Well, to me, ladies, like, you are just looking at what is on ground now.
Mm-hmm.
To me, yes, things you still have to plan ahead. If you
Yeah.
focus on, if you just focus on now,
Mm-hmm.
you might, yes, you get what you want now, but later on, by the time the chips are down, then you are still going to be the person who has to get a solution for whatever comes up.
Yes, as a leader of the house, you have to take the final decisions.
You have to take the
When
final
you are making that decision, are you in the process of making that decision? Are you involving her and then showing how you are coming to that decision so that she is more understanding of your situation? Brother, are you there? Hello. I can't hear you, brother, if you're there. The connection is probably, the mic is probably not working. How long do we have?
Minutes.
Okay. We might cut it short because we don't have much. So I'll just go to room 1 and speak to them, and then we can bring them out.
Refuge in Allah from being foolish.
Mm.
So sometimes this is a dua of Prophet Sallam that you can actually seek refuge in Allah from, falling into foolishness.
Foolishness.
Yes, so that's something I like to do. And yes, of course, So inshallah.
Welcome back. How did you go?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
We're good, halfway.
Halfway, you went halfway. That's good. Halfway is good. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, let's get back to our session. Let me share the screen again. All right. So leadership is nothing to do with ranks. People higher in rank than us has authority over us, so we listen to them, but don't trust them or don't respect them. Leadership is the awesome responsibility to see those around us rise. We will do everything in our power to see them rise, to see them achieve their ambition and their dreams. Best leaders are students of leadership. There is no such thing as expert leaders. It doesn't exist. And that's the word of Simon Sinek. Even the most senior leaders constantly are reading books, watches lectures, talks, having conversation all the time about leadership. And they are always in the learning mode, having that growth mindset. Anyone who wants to be a leader, you have to choose to be a student of the subject. Like any other thing that we want to become, we have to be a student of that. Leaders have the courage to speak truth to power and the courage to do the right thing and have integrity. So leaders create leaders. Are we creating leaders in our families? Are we giving the space for our spouses to lead themselves, to be leaders? Good leaders share the credit when things go well and take responsibility when things go badly. And a strong leader accepts blame and gives the credit. A weak leader gives blame and accepts the credit. So are we being good leaders, or are we being defensive and egotistic? So what we think Ramadan is giving up eating and drinking, but it's much more than that. It's developing as a person to be closer to Allah, to make Allah happy, purifying our mind, body, and soul, and building God consciousness, break the unhealthy cycles that we are in, and creating healthy habits. Are we doing those? Are we making those our lifestyles? So become good at leading yourself. Be self-aware. Have grace under pressure. Know your strengths and patterns. Learn to prioritize. Look at yourself when people quit. Look at yourself when people withdraw from you. Listen more than we talk. Handle criticism with grace. Admit our mistakes and learn from them. Leadership is stop micromanaging other people, letting them have autonomy, letting them be leaders, empower and inspire people, lift people up, not pulling them down. Credit others for your success. Become the best learners in the room. We tend to think we are self-made. We're never self-made. Self-made is not a thing. There are so many people who are supporting us along the way, and that's why we are here today. Judge your leadership by the success of your people. Multiply leaders, meaning make leaders from people around you. And leave a legacy. Are we doing those? And make sure that you are not, that everybody is rowing in the same direction and not drilling holes when you are not looking. And make sure that your ego, your subconscious is not that person and self-sabotaging you. because that's the hardest one to acknowledge and point and catch. This is from a hadith. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that the troop of shaitan that goes to the main shaitan, his troops goes to him and says that I have done this and I have done that, and shaitan is not very impressed with them. And then one goes that I have made husband and wife split, and the shaitan is so happy, he gives him a hug. So are we letting shaitan in our relationship, in our marriages, or are we fighting against each other, trying to win against each other, or are we fighting for the truth and arrive at the truth? Are you fighting against the shaitan to reach the truth, or are you letting shaitan in between you and your spouse and your children? So when we have these qualities, we are fruitful. But when we have the opposite qualities, that's when we die. We feel dead, our soul is dead, our relationships are dead. So I helped myself knowing my values and living those values, my core beliefs, which guide my actions. And this takes long to find out. And if I am really living them, where I'm sleeping, if I'm sleeping, supporting myself, and then my goals are based on my values and my beliefs. Now, that itself takes long time to figure out, which we won't be able to delve into today. But I have a class that I'll be running very soon. And is it okay that I talk about it? Would you like to know? Jazakallah khairan. So
Sure,
I'm running,
sure.
I'll run another class, Love Alignment. So Love Alignment is an immersive workshop designed to help couples deepen their connection and strengthen their marriages by identifying and aligning their core values. And this is also good for people who are single as well, knowing your values, what you want to live by. So this is very helpful to know for your own growth. And how do you know that if you're living outside your values? The signs are that you have frequent compulsive behavior, like needing to be busy or overworking, a feeling of floundering with a lack of personal development, learning, and growth, persistent addiction to food, drink, media, or something else that consumes your attention, and a hidden lack of self-worth. You feel like you're not good enough. You want intimacy, but it's not reciprocated. You want respect, but it's not, you're not receiving it. You find it difficult to voice your concerns. So if you are having those or multiple of those, these are signs that you need to work on your values. So if you scan this one or take a photo, scan that later, or even the bit.ly/love align, that will take you to the registration page. I will, inshallah, I plan to run this on 2nd of May, similar timing. And this one has a ticket to get in. It's $19. So it might not be for everybody. So take a picture before I move on to the next slide. And if you guys want to know, keep in touch with me what other events I'll be running. I plan to run at least one session per month, if not two. And there would be free sessions, there would be some paid session, depending on the situation. But if you want to be informed of what I'll be running, because I know some of you got to know about this class through your friends and family, but sometimes it not reach you. So if you want to join this community by scanning this QR code, and this, I try to make it where people cannot see each other's phone number, so you have your privacy. But I don't know how the WhatsApp group sometimes work, because in some communities I can see other people's numbers. So I'm not sure. I cannot give you 100% guarantee that you'll not, your number will not be exposed. But I've seen the WhatsApp group I currently have for this one, that people cannot see each other's, or I believe people cannot see each other's numbers. So if you feel safe and you want to get notification of the event that I'll be running, add yourself there, and inshallah you'll be notified. It's up to you if you want to join or not. So that's all from me. Alhamdulillah, I was able to finish on time, although I didn't get to.
This one.
Sorry, sister.
Sorry, sister. I think I cut you. I'm so sorry. My apologies.
No, all good, all good. And
the one on. Sorry,
go ahead.
you go
Sorry,
ahead first.
there is overlap. I think there is a lag. That's why I can't hear you, and I start talking. Go ahead, sister.
No, the one on 2nd May, the class that you have, is it a one-time class? Is it like the one class, just
one
the class?
The way I go, I think I'll need at least 2 to 3 classes. I want to do it in one, but I tend
because
to,
the date only says 2nd May.
exactly. So at this point, I'm planning to trying to do it in one class, but once I start working on that, I'll probably find out that I might have to have 2 classes or 3 classes, but the price would be the same. It's still going to be $19, even if it's 3 class, 2 class, or 1 class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So also I'm working on a program called Marriage First Aid, looking into breathing life into your marriage if it's hanging by the neck. So that's something that would be paid as well. And we'll see how we go. There might be a free class so that people know, and then we can go from there. So that's from me today. Tonight, it's Maghrib time. And also what I'll do in the group, Sister Amatullah, you're not in the group, in the community. It helps me if people are in the group, then I don't have to message them individually. So
I just scan the code right now.
Okay.
Maybe you'll find me again.
Yeah, Jazakallah khairan. So what I'll do is I'll share the Quran verse that I was talking about, that's on the internet, where you can go into each verse and see if these are the qualities you have, or you want to work on, or you want to get better at. So do that exercise with your family, with your kids, with your spouses, and keep working on those during this Ramadan, inshallah. That would be a great change for us, and taking Ramadan really seriously, not just leaving food and drink. It's much more than that. Inshallah, let's work on that one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khairan.
Sister.
Thank you so much for that.
My pleasure.